Because obviously, if you're just starting out as well, it could be quite intimidating to have the customer there watch and sort of tell you what to do. So how do you deal with that situation?
I think it's more comforting that they're there to say what they need and what they would like, because at the end of the day, it's not about what we want how to show our skills. It's about pleasing the customer.
So thank you for joining us today, Marie and Riley, on the Gyms Group podcast. And how long have you been with Gyms first of all?
So we're just heading into our 8th week. So
8th week, so 2 months. Yeah, and how's it been?
Eye-opening, for sure.
Yeah, it definitely had its challenges over the 8 weeks. I've been able to grow and look at myself from different angles and being able to just work on things. But yeah, interacting with people and their dogs just been something really different.
Yeah. And what's some challenging aspects then? Has it just been there's so many things you now got to worry about in terms of invoicing and things, or what's been the challenging aspects for you?
Just being in a whole new different industry and then being my own boss and then being my husband's boss and time.
It's the difference, really. There's no difference in normal life.
But yeah, time management, just discovering new parts of ourselves and having to be able to work together on a different aspect, like working on your own personal goals and then couple goals and then there's business goals. It's something that we haven't really touched on before. So yeah, it's just communication is probably something big that we've really been working on.
Awesome. And what were you guys doing prior to doing Gyms Dog Wash?
So I was a underground truck driver, and then before that I was in hospitality in the mining industry.
Yeah. And what about you, Riley?
So I was in hospitality in the mining industry, and before that I was in sort of transport, warehousing prior to that as well. So it's completely different sort of industry for us, yeah.
And how have you then found it, Riley, from your perspective?
I've actually loved it. I grew up with a German Shepherd when I was younger. Yeah, she cranked out 16 years before she called it a day. And then that was when I was about 16, and I'm 36 now, so I haven't had a dog since. So 20 years, I haven't been able to, just our living situations and our working situations and traveling, we just haven't afforded the time to actually put into it to a dog. So This is one way to do it.
Absolutely. And how did you then find the training then, Maria, from your perspective, from doing all these other roles to doing the training? How did you find it? How long did it maybe take you to feel comfortable with it?
So the 4-day training in Melbourne, I absolutely loved. It was something different, so empowering. The amount of support that you had and the numbers, phone numbers, people interacting. It was definitely a step in the right direction. It actually gave us the confidence that we needed to know that we weren't alone in it all. And then just meeting our divisional and our franchisors and the other franchisees, it was it's just like a creative friendship on the days that we were there. And then the 10 days or the 14 days that we were with our trainers, Hannah and Costa, they have been amazing, from day dot. They've just been so open, welcoming, warm. They still message us every now and then. I think we just caught up with them the other day at our face-to-face meeting. And they've just been there for us, all of them, since day dot. We've also heard from Jim via email, and that was really, really cool. And yeah, it's just been so supportive and very empowering to be a part of this group.
No, it's definitely a really good culture, Gyms Dog Wash. I've met Hannah and Costa before. They're a really lovely young couple and doing really well. So yeah, they're really good people to share knowledge with and stuff like that. And that's really good to hear. And so yeah, as I said, it's got a really good culture, Dog Wash, when you come to training. Everyone stands out in the red uniform and everyone's very vocal at the quiz night and all that sort of stuff. So no, it's definitely for culture. And I was going to say then, with the actual grooming training, how long was that component? Was that the 2 weeks then out in the road, or did you do some sort of separate training? Or
yeah, so we do 2 weeks training with on the job training with Hannah and Costa, and then our franchisor sets up little workshops. I think we've got one coming up 2nd of June where we actually go to someone's salon and we're actually learning different techniques to groom. But a lot of the time it's also just gaining confidence around working on different dogs.
Yeah.
But if we've had a few different dogs where we've actually had the owners stand at the trailer and tell us where they want the dog clipped, how short they want it clipped.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just to give that sense of comfort and confidence to the owner.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely with someone's pets. Yeah, it's such a with their dogs, it's a family member, and it's I can understand that with some customers they must be really, really particular, and as a groomer, it might be very. How do you deal with that then? Is it just something where, because obviously if you're just starting out as well, it could be quite intimidating to have a customer there watch and sort of tell you what to do. So how do you deal with that situation?
I think it's more comforting that they're there to say what they need and what they would like, because at the end of the day, it's not about what we want to, how to show our skills. It's about pleasing the customer. And at the end of the day, if they're there and they're saying, please, can you cut it this short, it may not look good to us, but they might like it. And I mean, that's why we're there. We're not there to instill our fashion sense and style on the dog. It's what the family likes. So it's like
providing that customer service that they want, that they're paying for. And at the end of the day, it's really what matters to them that counts.
Great perspective. And I was going to say, are you guys working in the same trailer, or you got two, or how's that situation?
Same trailer. It's very tight.
I was going to say, yeah, no, I know the trailer as well, because you obviously have Mirror National. So, yeah, so how do you go about working as a team in the trailer?
I reckon we've got a pretty good dynamic. There are times where we need to step out because the other one's just taking lead. But at the end of the day, my position's a little lower than Juria's, so I have to bite my tongue. But it's I love working with my wife. It's just even between the jobs, just driving between the jobs. I sit back and I'll just look over at her and I'm like, well, we're working together, and we're just driving and singing in the car on the way to the next job. And it's just amazing. Like previously, Marie would be isolated for 12 hours in a truck underground, and I would be frantically running around back of house trying to pick up an order or do something that I had to do. And we would only meet up at around 6 p.m. at night, and then would have dinner, shower, and bed. So there was no sort of, not balance, but there was no sort of intimacy other than 3 or 4 hours in the day. But this time we get the whole day to do it. So
yeah,
it's fun.
I think for me personally, it's really about working on our strengths. So Riley's really, really great with front of house customer service stuff. And my strength is working on the admin stuff, back of house phone calls. So when Riley's interacting with the customer and the dog, I'm in the car normally like booking in, 3 or 4 appointments. And then when I'm finished, then I jump in the trailer and I do things that he needs help with, the nails or like the ankles or just even keeping the dog calm. So yeah, I guess that's just how we've worked really well with each other, just working on our strengths. But then in between, we try to strengthen our weaknesses. So I find it really hard sometimes to interact and connect with customers. So every now and then I'll jump out of the trailer and I'll start a small conversation with the customers. And then if he can see that I'm, not doing too well, then he'll jump in and he'll just start a whole conversation, which fires up the whole customer rapport strengthening. So
that's a great point. And we have a lot of husband and wife teams in gyms, and it's really good to hear that as well, because it is, a family business or a team business. And it's great to be able to have your partner involved together when you've been working away for so long to, different sort of roles, and to come together is really, really nice to hear. And it's great to hear that you enjoy it. Sometimes people get do the joke, why would you want to work with your other partner? But I think from what I hear from a lot of people I do interview, the husband and wife teams, it's a great thing. We've got many husband and wife teams been going for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years longer. It's really, really important. I was going to say as well, with your 8 weeks so far in business, what's been the most surprising thing to you? Has it been the confidence thing that that's been maybe easier than you maybe thought to do, or maybe in the first 8 weeks, what's been the most surprising thing for you about running the business?
Probably just the amount of knowledge that is out there. Like a lot of people actually do love to share their knowledge, and a lot of people love to talk. So if you're a really good listener, you learn so much just from sitting and listening to people and letting them share their stories. To be honest, I've probably found it a lot easier to be able to talk about my problems within the business and then finding how many other people have actually run into the same problem and their solutions to it. So you kind of come into this, I know I did anyway, just thinking up of all these problems that could possibly go wrong, and then finding out that someone else has actually already run into the problem, and then I found a solution, which they're more than happy to share their solution. So yeah, communication, I think, just being vulnerable and letting other people help.
That's a really good, I love that point. It's a really good one. And that's a really good part of the gym system, is that you're coming in where other franchisees have been there and done all the things you probably have a question about, and they can more than happy to share it with you as well, which I think is a really good part of gyms, and especially in dog wash division as well. And I was going to say, favorite breeds so far? You just like all dogs? I always ask this question to our dog wash franchisees. Do you have any particular favorite breeds, or is it big dogs or small dogs for you? Which ones do you prefer?
I love them all, to be honest. They've all got their own little personalities, their own little quirks. The big dogs, I kind of get a little bit intimidated by at first. So I chuck Riley in the ring with them. And then, I let them kind of run circles around Riley first. And then once we've just eased up towards each other, then I'm in there with them. But yeah, I think they're all different. They've all got their own little quirks, their own personalities. I love it when they rub Riley up the wrong way because that's such a good laugh.
Majority of the dogs that we do are multi Shih Tzus. They're the most that come through. But then we get so the smaller dogs, and they have a lot of attitude. They have a lot of personality. But you know what? When you get to the point where they can see again, and then like you see their eyes and stuff, it sort of lights up. When the hair's covering their eyes, they don't know what's going on. And because we're working around their face with the clippers or the scissors and all the noises, it's just like they start getting real anxious. But then as soon as those eyes open up, their whole personality comes out, tongues out, tails wagging, and then they let you do certain things. So the small dogs have a lot of personality, whereas the big dogs, I just love them because they're so obedient. They just stand there, and then they whimper just as much as the smaller dogs, and you're just like, come on, mate. It's just a wash.
A lot of big dogs as well, and I forget how big they are. Yeah. So they like turn into these like big playful things.
Little puppies.
And then, they throw their weight around and stuff, and you're like, you're not that small. Like, this isn't a trailer to play around in. And the small dogs tend to forget how small they are, and they try to take on the big dogs.
The attitude.
Hilarious to watch. So funny.
So I've changed my opinion on Chihuahuas and smaller dogs has changed from previous, because when I first before starting gyms, I was like, these small dogs are going to get on my nerve and stuff. They're lovely. I would get a Chihuahua in a heartbeat now. I wanted a Bernese Mountain Dog. I saw how much work was going to come into de-shedding one.
De-shedding, yeah.
Yeah, personally, I was like, I might have to change that and go to a short hair.
Yeah. I've got 2 Shih Tzus, so I can understand how small dogs have different personalities. And the grooming, we always have a top notch in ours, and the eyes sometimes, if you let it go for too long. So it's they were little dogs that got good personalities. I was the same. I used to think they'd be very yappy and stuff before I moved in, and we had some, but they're great dogs, and it's great to hear that about those breeds. And I was going to say as well, with you're nearly at 8 weeks, so you on your cycle of repeats yet for customers, or you're just about to start that, or?
We had. 3 or 4 days ago, we had 3 returning customers that were in from like our first week. So that's the most that we've had in one day for returning customers because of our scheduling and stuff like that. We've had 20 to 30 return, maybe.
Oh, wow. That's great. Already 2 months.
Maybe 20.
And then we've got a lot of clients who rebook straight after. Like as soon as they see their dog, when they're out of the trailer, they're like, oh my God, our dog's not stressed. Like, look at him. He's got this movement. He's running around and he looks so happy and he looks so good. They're like, when can we book in again? And we're like, well, actually.
And I think gyms has helped with that a lot, especially with the pay for work guarantee. It's really helped with sort of getting us out there, like, because essentially people are like, we're new. So it's sort of like people are trying to trust us with their dog and their family member, if you, like you said earlier, and they're not too sure on paying full price for 2 newbies, right? So we're essentially going there and we're saying, look, here's our services.
If we're the right fit for you, then here's our name, number, and our services that we provide, which is basically what pay for work guarantee is all about, just finding the right fit for us, but also the right fit for them.
Yeah.
I'll just say on that for people. So pay for work guarantees. So did you put a picture of yourself up on your Facebook page, for example, and you put, is it 50% off, or did you do just for free, or what were you doing at the start to encourage that? Was the discount, or was it the free trial sort of thing?
So it was we offered the free trial because based on what our knowledge in the industry was, we were just coming into it. So we had to get practice and build that rapport with customers. And so we offered the free one. And then a lot of people have just snapped it up and are like, oh, why are you doing this? Why? And we were transparent. We were just like, look, they were like, here's this, here's that. And we're like, we're still getting paid for it.
They were still trying to offer us money, even though we were offering them free services.
Yes. And then,
Yeah.
but they will upgrade their package. They were like, well, if I'm getting a wash and I got a German Shepherd, can I get a D-shed?
Yeah.
And we're like, pay the difference.
So it's just a discount.
And then,
Yeah.
so that's the great initiative that's really helped us, I guess, build confidence and propel us to where we are now. Like, we're not in the stratosphere, but we're hitting pretty big ceilings for ourselves. And
For first time business owners and working with dogs for the first time, even though it's like a major want of ours for a long time, that's glass ceiling points that we've been able to smash through.
Yeah.
It's great.
I was going to say, yeah, the pay for it guarantee is really good because a lot of franchises advertise, I think, called an income guarantee, and which is some. I don't know how most of theirs works, but the way the one Jim's works, which you've outlined for people, is you got to promote your services for free, and we'll pay you if you don't make that amount from the other stuff, and you get practice on the jobs, you get practice your customer service and stuff like that, and plus build a reputation in the area. And it's great to hear that people actually want to give you money as well to pay the difference. That's a really good thing to hear. But I think it's a really unique thing in gyms, and it's a great thing how you used it because it's there to be used, and how you've been able to use it to build your business and your skills and your reputation. And already after 2 months, like, although you don't have to say anything about money, but like, are you happy with the level of where you're at the moment?
Absolutely. So basically, week 2, we had already replaced our income from
Really?
the industry. Yeah.
yeah.
Now, can I imagine how much our mining industry obviously would be paying pretty well, so that's pretty good to hear.
So yeah, what we were making in a month, we had already made in 2 weeks.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And that's not to take away that we still had back of house stuff that we still had to.
Yeah, we
Like-
had fallen behind in that part a little bit, but it was so worth it to know, the effort that we were putting in. So we were having some really late nights, just getting our washing and our admin
Yeah.
and stuff. But to know that the effort that we were putting in with our late nights, we were getting back and we were actually seeing results almost instantly.
Yeah.
Like the harder you work, the harder we work, the more we saw.
Yeah.
It's such a weird mindset, isn't it? Because like, if you've been an employee for so long, I'm obviously an employee, and yeah, you get the same amount every week or every fortnight, depending on what you do. And then whereas with you go from that to sort of, well, you put a really hard day in, and it's reflected in what's in your bank at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I think the other thing is as well, like just yesterday, actually, we went to a client's house and she tried to tip us $100 for giving her dogs a wash. And we were
If you're $100, gee whiz, that's a very generous customer. Bloody hell.
so she was from the mining industry as well. So we were like,
Yeah.
maybe you could, that's enough.
Yeah. Just rebook. We'll come back. Yeah.
Very, very nice. I've never heard of $100 tip, but that's a good one.
Because if she's tipping $100 the first time, we're going to expect it every other time, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly right.
No.
No, it's really great to hear, and it's great to hear that after 2 months, you're only 2 months in about it. And maybe let's talk about that stuff though. Like, when you say fall behind, what are some stuff that you think newer franchisees or just business owners in general when they start? What is that sort of stuff? Is that like the invoicing? Is it the bank reconciliation in Xero? What's the sort of stuff that's maybe when you come home at the end of the day, that's the stuff that you need to take care of? Maybe just outline that for people, what they need to look at.
So for me personally, it was basically like getting a database together of clients, like details and stuff, so that it was just easier to be able to rebook them. Because at the moment, we're just using the old school pen and paper. But there's so many apps out there, but it just requires a little bit more time to be able to enter your clients' details into the database, and then being able to set up meetings.
Yep.
Because it requires a little bit of time. You kind of have to like shut off from doing dogs and then putting the customer service first to actually like, okay, getting your ducks in a row, basically. Like, what is it that I need to be able to share with my bookkeeper, and then finding the time to be able to submit things that he needs you to do. So the back of house stuff probably has been the hardest part, but being able to just manage your time and your energy appropriately is something like a game changer for sure.
You want to talk about that then, about managing your energy, because that's a really good point. What do you sort of mean by that, managing your energy and your time?
So obviously, like when you come into the business, like a lot of people come into the business to be able to create a lifestyle.
Yeah.
But the lifestyle, they also forget lifestyle also includes like sleep, regular exercise, eating properly. And that's something that you don't actually get trained on, because when you're trained, you already know how to eat, you already know how to sleep. So you don't incorporate that in the training. And so you're just like, okay, groom a dog, customer service. But then you also have to slow down and be like, actually, I also need to eat. So when can I eat? What kinds of food are appropriate to be able to eat to drive in between jobs? Do I have enough water with me to be able to last me throughout the whole day? And then even like, have we finished early enough, or are we starting early enough to be able to get the appropriate amount of time for sleep? Have any days off to be able to have that work and lifestyle balance to be able to, maintain our relationship and friendships, things that actually just are easily missed when you're training.
That's a really, really good point. And it sounds simple, but a lot of people forget that sort of stuff, and then they get burnt out or they don't eat properly, and it sort of snowballs. But that's a really, really good point, and people do need to make time for themselves. It's something we don't focus on enough sometimes in training, because you just assume people will do it, but it's something that's really, really important. So it's a really good point.
Absolutely. And it's something that, like, being first-time business owners, because that stuff's already organized for you when you do a traditional job, they're like, these set hours, 9 to 3. So then you're like, okay, cool. Outside of 9 to 3, I can create my own life and I don't have to worry about work. Whereas for us, it's something like the phone just does not stop ringing because of the promotion that we have. We've got messages coming in at like 11 p.m., 1 a.m. And we're just like, what? But we understand, like, it's a good problem to have for us. But, it's setting those boundaries between our personal life and then the business life. And it's something that we're still learning to do, but it's all a part of the learning curve.
It's a great point. And managing your time, and as you said, getting messages at 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock at night, trying to book it in stuff. Do you respond to it? Do you wait till the next day when you're ready? That sort of thing. It's you need to obviously spend a bit of time working out. I think every franchisee does what's their model, what's going to work for them.
Absolutely. And I think that comes down to communication as well, right? Like, being with other franchisees, they're like, learning about their experiences and what they've done on how to build their business and make their life a lot more easier. It's like, okay, so that's worked for you. Maybe this will work for us too. And then we trial it for a little bit. Like, our franchisor actually recommended a app, Groommore, and see the benefits. But now we just have to assign that time to be able to actually start implementing it.
Yeah, it's always a thing. Yeah, setting up systems and stuff takes time, but it can definitely save a lot of time in the long run. It's just that sometimes people just don't make the time to set up and start, and it's a quite common problem with a lot of our divisions sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's great. Like, these are problems and challenges that you don't run into being like in a normal traditional job. And this is what really, for me, actually does it. Like, this is what I can really see, like, me being able to use my potential and like just seeing how far I can stretch myself to be able to make things work. And it's great. I love it.
How many dogs are you guys roughly getting around to every week? How many so far? Are you doing like maybe roughly like 7, 8 jobs a day, or 5, or what's the sort of number for you guys?
Average about 6 to 7 jobs a day.
Yeah. And so what's the math on that?
36 dogs.
Yeah. 36 to 40. Yeah. At the moment, because we are starting off, and a lot of our customers and clients and dogs that are coming in are first timers, we tend to spend a little bit more time with these clients so that we can show that we're not just there to just do the grooming job. We're there to make the dog comfortable, make the client to satisfy the client. So it does take an extra 20 minutes or so building that sort of trust and that little rapport. So some other franchisees can do 10 dogs a day by themselves or something like that, because their dogs have been maintained and they've got that customer rapport, and that's what we're looking at getting to. But at the moment, we're averaging 6 to 7 dogs a day. And I think it's the traveling time as well for us, because Adelaide's big, all cities are big. And the traveling distance is like, if we schedule one job wrong, we're in traffic for like 25, 30 minutes. And that's solely based on us forgetting which suburb we're in at that time of day. And then we're like, oh no, that's knocked out 30 minutes off the day. It's little things like that sort of push our average smaller than what we are looking at getting to. So I think we're looking at getting to 10 a day. That'd be great.
Yeah, for sure. And I was going to say, I love how you said about the rapport building thing. I think that's really important. I've interviewed a couple of franchisees recently who've done really well in their first month. And they said the same thing to you. It's just they took a bit more time with rapport with the initial client interaction. And that was asking maybe some observation questions or something like that. And that's a small thing that's really, really important. And I think it's important to customers as well. And that's something that's obviously a really big part of what you're doing with your success, which is well done to you guys for that. And I was going to say as well, is there anything before we finish up today? Thank you very much for your time that you'd say to someone maybe looking at doing what you're doing. What would you say to them as an advice? Would you say maybe do a day in the road, or what would you sort of recommend to them to maybe look at all the questions even to ask?
Don't hold back. If this is something that you're looking at doing, don't hold back. You've got nothing to lose, even on the 1-day trial. Yeah, if this is, just do it, really. Go and test your potential. Go and see what you're capable of doing. If it's not for you, it's not for you, but you've got to at least give it a go. And you've got to be in it to win it.
That's right. What about you, Riley? What from your perspective?
I would say, definitely give it a go. Put down all your preconceptions of what you think owning a business is like. It's not easy. It's not hard. If you've got support, you can do it. It's a very daunting thing to do. At first, I was like, "Whoa, no, that's too scary. It's too I'm comfortable." And that's the main thing with me, is that I was comfortable getting paid every week, and I wasn't getting anywhere. Like now, it's more rewarding to see, like I said, once the dog's eyes light up, once the owners get their dog back and they're happy with it, that's more rewarding than getting your monthly wage or salary or something like that. But then it's a bonus to get paid for that. So it's like, give it a go.
I love what you said then. I think there's so many, and it's obviously been in you, but some people don't have the, they just have to get comfortable and, rather than doing the challenge. So I love that comment you said, because it's obviously been in you guys for a long time. You probably would have done this. It's just that sometimes that self-belief and that getting out of that comfort zone, which is very hard for all of us to do, but you've always had it in you. So well done to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I look forward to checking in with you guys maybe in a year or two to see how you've built your business. Because I know Hannah and Costa have got a big operation. I'm sure that's what you guys will probably want to lead to. So it'd be great to hear how you go moving forward in the future. And thank you very much for your time on the Gyms podcast. It's great to hear you've had such good success already in the first 8 weeks, which is quite remarkable in terms of being able to replace or exceed your income in your previous roles already is a really big achievement. So well done to you guys.
Thanks, Joel.
Thanks, Joel.
Thanks, guys. All right. Have a great weekend.
You too. See ya.
Bye. Thank you for listening to the episode of the Gyms podcast. If you want to learn more about the Gyms Group, head to gyms.net or call us on 131 546 Australia or 0800 454 654 New Zealand. And if you did like the episode as well, please make sure you leave a review or a comment or a thumbs up or a comment on the video as well. We appreciate your support. And until next episode, we hope you have a great week.